let everyone know that today's session is being recorded, so you will be able to refer back to everything that we discussed on today's call later. As well, you'll be receiving a follow-up email from me a little bit later this afternoon with some additional information about Eaglebrook, as well as like a complimentary resource from them. So definitely keep an eye out for that email. Super excited to host everyone today. So thank you so much for joining us. Derek, without further ado, would love to have you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, of course. My name is Derek Tracy. I'm the Director of Business Development at Eaglebrook Advisors. And I really kind of handle all growth and introducing individuals like yourself about Eaglebrook Advisors, what we do, what we're about, how we're compliant. And then, I run through individuals through our demo. And the ultimate goal is to get individuals like yourself to be understanding of digital assets and how to allocate to digital assets.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Derek. Super excited to be hosting this presentation with you today. Also would like to welcome my colleague Shannon from Bridge. Shannon, could you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your role at Bridge?
Sure. So my name is Shannon Sullivan. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at Bridge Financial Technologies. I've served within the RIA space for a very long time, supporting advisors on technology platforms, working with them on understanding what are the technology offerings that are out in the market space there, and then working with advisors today that are thinking about changing their technology stack, looking at the view of the future and what are the potential technology options that are available to them. And I think that's where BridgeFT is really at the forefront here of providing the next generation of technology that will be available to advisors to continue their growth into the future. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up is, it's interesting, I probably show my age if you're not seeing it online right now, but I remember a time in the past where all of a sudden real estate was a potential part of an asset allocation and the products and services came out in the market space. It's very similar, I think, with what's going on today with the aspects of the digital coin experience that we're going to talk about today. And Derek, as a one of the partners that we have in place to provide that custodial platform with these types of assets to support the potential growing needs of the clients that you're going to be working with in the future also.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shannon. Super excited for you guys to both be presenting today. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items before Derek kind of gets into the presentation and goes through the agenda. So we are having question and answer session at the end of the presentation. So you'll see within the Zoom tool, there is actually a Q&A functionality. So as we're going through the presentation, please, go ahead and submit your questions via that, and we'll definitely get to them during that dedicated session, which will be at the end of the presentation. And another important thing to note is we will actually be going into the Eaglebrook platform on today's call and getting to see a demo of that as well. So super excited. Derek's going to share that with you guys. So unless I miss anything, super excited to kick it off. Go ahead, Derek.
Absolutely. Carolyn, thank you so much for that introduction. Shannon, love to have you on here. Appreciate your time. And obviously everybody that's on the call who's interested in digital assets, who now has the ability to invest in digital assets through Eaglebrook Advisors. So today we really just want to run through who's Eaglebrook, what we do, why we do it, kind of some industry trends around digital assets, talk about our product suite, go over a quick demo of our digital asset platform, and then ultimately at the end of the day, show you some tangibles that you could take away and what you need to do to be able to access Eaglebrook Advisors. And as she said, throw some answers or some questions in the queue. We'll get to them at the end. If Shannon sees something right away that he thinks we need to address, obviously he could pop in and do that, but I think we should get started. The first thing is let's give it a little step back and talk about Eaglebrook Advisors and where we started. So our company really started about 4 years ago when our founder and CEO, Chris King, he worked at Morgan Creek Capital, which is a VC company. This VC company backed early providers of the digital asset space, companies like Coinbase, companies like BlockFi. These are ones you're going to hear about, pretty specific in the digital asset space. His father is a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch, and he understands how financial advisors work. So he wanted to go as a VC to go out and try to invest in a company that was backing financial advisors in the digital asset space, and he couldn't find one. So he went out and he created it. He went out and found our CTO, and they completely onboarded our portfolio, which is what you're looking at today on the screen on the right-hand side. That is our platform. So if I break this up into two different sides, one, we have our fintech side. We're a fintech company because we have a turnkey solution that I can send you that you could start allocating and onboarding clients all on the same day. It takes 2 to 3 minutes to onboard a client. Your client has a small portion that they need to be doing. We do KYC AML as we are set up like an RIA ourselves as we adhere to the SEC custody rules. And then our qualified custodian does the same. And then you can start funding an account all on the same day, all on our platform. And all of this, no wet signatures, no paperwork. All of this is very digital. The other part of our fintech side is now we have partnered with Bridge. So when you, as a financial advisor or your clients, go to their Bridge platform and look at their entire portfolio, what they're going to see is your diversified portfolio, large cap, mid cap, small cap, whatever that looks like. And now they're going to be able to see the digital asset allocation provided by Eaglebrook. We are sending this data on a daily basis. So every single day, at the end of the day, you're going to be able to pull up your portfolio and see what that percentage change of your Eaglebrook Advisors Bitcoin allocations or Eaglebrook Advisors Ethereum allocation or your Eaglebrook Advisor DeFi, all the solutions available, all of that information is going to be pushed back to Bridge. And that's why we're so excited about this partnership, because it's going to make this very easy and scalable, where you can now include digital assets as part of your allocation, all set up through our tech. And then on the other side of that, we're an asset management firm. We're the very first company to ever create an SMA for Bitcoin and digital assets. We are the largest provider of digital assets in the SMA form. Our company went public in November, not public as a company, but we pushed out to our clients to be able to allocate in November of last year. So we just hit our 1 year mark. We brought our very first client on board in January, just happened to be Mariner Wealth Advisors, top 5 RIA. They run somewhere around 60 billion in assets. They started onboarding in January, started funding accounts starting in February. Today, we are allocated or working with partnerships with over 46 RIAs, the largest being Mariner, all the way down to $1 billion firms, even smaller. We're also integrated now with BridgeFT, which makes it easy for you to allocate, see that a part of your entire portfolio, and then also on top of that, you could start feeing on top of it. We have over 500 financial advisors that are allocating on a daily basis to our portfolios and our digital asset provider as Eaglebrook. And today's, really in the last 9 months, when we started funding accounts, we are running somewhere around 160 to 170 million in assets. So that's not only to tell you that fantastic, Eaglebrook's great, but at the same time, it's social proof that digital assets are being provided by financial advisors, and now you too have access to being able to do that. And that right there is Eaglebrook Advisors in a nutshell. I want to go ahead and jump straight into kind of industry trends, and I'm going to bring Shannon on board because he really understands that digital assets needs to be a part of a portfolio, or at least have the ability for advisors to be able to allocate their clients. Why? Clients are doing this anyway. I mean, if you think about digital assets, there's over 200 million people who are allocating to digital assets, and you as a financial advisor, your clients expect you to understand digital assets the same way you understand mutual funds, the same way you understand equities, the same way you understand alternatives and your fixed income portfolios. And so now you do have that ability at your fingertips because we're education first. So we're going to be able to provide you all of our education right on our platform. You're going to have a real good understanding around digital assets, not just what they are, but how to invest in them. And then you're also going to have a very beautiful, seamless, compliant process of how to allocate those clients. Shannon, I'll let you pop in and kind of jump into some of these, maybe not statistics, but the things that you're hearing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's really hard for a lot of advisors is to find a location to learn more about this digital asset space. And I really don't recommend it being Reddit as your first source of information there. I really do feel that you have to find something that's going to provide the information you need to create to first understand it. Then how do you portray this to your clients to understand the opportunity to them, and then bring that out as a part of your asset allocation into the market space. And that's where I brought up Derek before about with my age and years back, I remember when real estate was, a new opportunity to add to it. Historically before, that was all in the private equity space, and to add that as a part of your investment strategy, or put that as an asset allocation. And then through the years, we've seen all of the different types of products that are out there and available for advisors to provide that as a part of their asset allocation. And I think this is also just another iteration of an opportunity of investment strategy for financial advisors in the market space today.
Yeah, you are 100% correct. And what you're looking at is industry trends. Every wirehouse, every indie, every broker dealer that you're looking at on the screen, those RIAs, they're partnered with us already. But every single one of your competitors right now are trying to find a way to invest in digital assets. And so we need to get you up to speed so now you are in line with your competition. And more importantly, here's an organic solution to grow your business, because your clients are going out and they're going to Coinbase and they're going to Gemini and they're allocating themselves. But we need to bring those under your purview as a financial advisor, put it as part of your goal-based planning, meaning looking at this from a 3 to 5 year time frame, not that short cycle when your client bought it at 60,000 when everything was hyped up, it dropped to 50 and they sold it. That's the worst case scenario that we can have, because those strong hands, as they say in the digital asset space, are coming in and gobbling that up. When instead they need to go, this is part of goal-based planning. We worked on this. Maybe now take to some dry powder off the sidelines and start allocating. But we'll get into that a little bit later. We could talk about the Bitcoin investment solutions that we have as far as what's provided for you through Eaglebrook Advisors. So what you're going to have the ability as far as our product suite to be able to invest in. Let's separate this into two columns. One, you're seeing the single asset SMA on the left-hand side. So you can go long Bitcoin, long Ethereum at 100%, or you can easily take that allocation and customize it like you're seeing in the middle columns, which these are just examples, 70-30, 50-50 Bitcoin and Ethereum, or if you want to go 60-40, 90-10, 40-60. However, the allocation between Bitcoin and Ethereum, you have the ability to customize that very easily right on our platform. The nice thing about this is these digital assets, Bitcoin and Ethereum, these are the blue chips. These are the ones that we consider like the Apples and the Googles and the Amazons of the world. They need to be a part of your portfolio. So we have no minimums, daily liquidity, and no transaction fees. Anybody can invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. You have a client that you want to, kind of just tip their toe in the water a little bit, put $1,000 in. There are no minimums like some of our competitors that are out there in the world. So that is the Bitcoin and Ethereum side. Well, let's look over here at the active side. Let's say, great, you like the Apples and the Googles of the digital asset space, it's those blue chips, but you want to start diversifying yourself a little bit more in the digital asset space, and you want to take advantage of the disruptions that are happening in the DeFi world. But you don't want to go out there and do the due diligence on these protocols, on these tokens. You really don't know how to allocate towards them. Well, we have an active management solution in this SMA and the DeFi opportunities where now you just check the box. We construct the portfolio. We do the quantitative, qualitative analysis. These are inefficient asset classes. Think of this as like the micro caps or the small caps of the digital asset space, where you kind of just want to say, I know I want to allocate towards it, but I don't know how. We will take care of that active management for you. So now you can buy your digital assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum. You slide in that DeFi as part of that nice diversified portfolio. What you also have access to is a risk managed strategy. And what we did is we went out and talked to an individual who runs $1 billion through a quant strategy. And what they're doing is they're just easily saying, all right, what's our quant and our model telling us? Is it risk on or is it risk off? So this is a risk managed, think about it as a low vol Bitcoin and Ethereum strategy. So you like Bitcoin, you want to allocate towards it, but you don't like the volatility swings. Well, the goal of a risk managed strategy is to not capture all the upside, maybe around 80%, but it's really there for not capturing the downside. The goal of it is to capture somewhere around 40% of the downside. So you can have a lot of different avenues that you can go down in the digital asset space. And if you're not sure what these allocations should look like, you utilize us as a resource as much as possible. We'll discuss that with you and get you familiar with what maybe that allocation for your client should look like inside of your entire diversified portfolio. And that right there is our product suite. So why did we select an SMA? Just like in the world of traditional assets, you have a lot of different avenues that you can go down. You can buy a mutual fund, you can buy a private fund, you can buy a trust, you can buy one of these ETFs. But why did we select SMA? Right there in front of you, direct ownership. Every time you allocate a digital asset through Eaglebrook Advisor, that Bitcoin, that Ethereum, those DeFi tokens, those are in your client's name held at a qualified custodian. Now let's talk about our qualified custodian. We went out and did due diligence on 12 different exchanges and found that Gemini is the qualified custodian that we selected to make sure that that's who we're using our custody for. So think of Gemini as a custodian. If they adhere to the SEC rules, what they're doing is the same thing that Fidelity, that Schwab is doing with your traditional assets, but in the world of digital assets. They adhere to the SEC custody rules. They are a qualified custodian. Since it's direct ownership, what that means is every single individual working with Gemini and Eaglebrook Advisors is everybody's in a hardware wallet. So the difference between a hardware wallet, which is cold storage, maybe a word that you heard in the digital asset space, let's compare cold storage and a hot wallet. A hot wallet is if you open a Coinbase account and it's right there on your phone, it's in the cloud. That's what a hot wallet is. That means you can, anytime you have internet access, you can take it, you can buy it, sell it, trade it, anytime you want, 24/7, 365. But what that also means is that means it's in the cloud. So if your phone gets hacked, you click on the wrong link, a phishing scam. These digital assets, which you've heard 1,000 times before, they can be stolen by hackers, and they're a bearer asset, so they can be gone forever if somebody does happen to them. I hear about it all the time. Even sophisticated digital asset individuals, I hear about them getting their phones hacked. Put it in a hardware wallet. Put it in cold storage. Cold storage means it's not online ever. The only time that it is online is when you're truing up and buying, selling, and trading. But because we work with Gemini, we have optimized trade execution strategies with them. So everybody's in a hardware wallet, offline, in cold storage, the most secure way to custody your digital assets, but you still get the ability to buy, sell, and trade 24/7, 365. All those are the capabilities of working with Eaglebrook Advisor through our direct ownership SMA. On the other side of that, you get tax optimization. Tax optimization, there is no wash rule in digital assets. I will make a little note here and tell you that that's going to go away, but in the meantime, it is available. And what that does is you select as a financial advisor what that threshold is, meaning what does your tax lot drop by? Is it 10%? Let's tax loss harvest every 10% drop. Is your cost basis drop by 15, 20%? Let's tax loss harvest that. You select that, which we will show you on the demo right away, and then it's automated. So you don't have to think about it. So let's say you put in $100,000, it drops by 10% of your tax lot. We sell it, we buy it right back, and we put it back into cold storage, all in a matter of seconds because there's no wash rule. The difference between when we're selling it and buying it right back is only slippage ratio of 17 basis points. That is extremely minimal in anywhere that you're going on. If you go to Coinbase and try to buy a digital asset at, let's say, 60,000, you're getting at 60,000 plus or minus maybe thousands of dollars. Here, slippage, 17 basis points. And at the end of the year, we as a qualified custodian are sending tax stocks to your clients so then they can hand it off to their accountant, because we know the number one question that people are asking right now on the IRS form: did you buy, sell, or trade digital assets? We are handling that for you. So you get the ability to offset capital gain liabilities, and that's going to be a nice little benefit on the digital asset or your entire portfolio as a whole at the end of the year. So tax optimization, portfolio customization, professional managed strategies as we're talking about, and then we can get into the cost structure a little bit later. But I think what we should do now, let's get into the exciting part. Let's get into the demo. And so I'll kind of run through this a little bit, but this is the turnkey solution that we're going to be able to send you. You can open it up. You can see how many clients you have, how many assets that you have, what's your percent change. Let's say you have multiple individuals on your team and you want to make sure that they too have access to your platform. Well, you do a little drop-down menu over here on the right-hand side. You select team management. You put in their first and last name, put in their user email, send them an invite. Now you have multiple team members that are going to have access to your entire dashboard. Keep in mind, all the information that you're doing here is being pushed back to Bridge. And that's the benefit of the partnership that we have with Bridge, is you can live inside your Bridge system, so can your clients. And you only need to come to our platform to be able to buy, sell, or trade, or if you're going to onboard a client. Makes it very scalable for you and your teams. From here, we can start looking at clients. So you go over here, you drop down to all clients. You're going to be able to see all your clients, account type, market value, total performance. We're going to come back to those. On the open client side, individual, joint, trust, LLC, corporations, LP, IRAs. Any type of client that you want to onboard, we have the capability of doing that. You probably work with sophisticated clients. So let's say they're a trust and they are 3 beneficiaries. 2 of them are trust, one's an individual. Very easily done right up here on our platform. Did I lose you? Nope, there it goes. Next is pending tasks. So nobody falls through the cracks when it comes to onboarding process. Let's say you're onboarding a client, Ryan Nash. You get a phone call 2 days later. You're like, man, I got to pick that back up again. Where'd I leave off? Come to pending tasks, find Ryan Nash. This is interactive. Takes you right to where you left off. Very nice. And then here's the exciting part, Eaglebrook IQ. This is where you're going to have the ability at your fingertips, all of our proprietary research. So you come into Eaglebrook IQ, all of our research reports right here. Very easily downloadable. I recommend everybody looking at the allocating to Bitcoin and digital assets, which Carolyn's going to send you right after this call. But you can easily pull up on your platform, download it, read it. Let's say you're looking for market commentary. What's happening on a weekly basis? Well, our proprietary research, our investment team is pumping out commentary every single week. As you can see, the last one was on 11:30. What about going into a meeting and you want to have something tangible to show them? Well, you come to Eaglebrook IQ, you go to client-facing or client-approved materials. Let's say you're talking about Eaglebrook advisors. Boom, you pull it up, now you have something tangible to show your clients. Same thing here on due diligence. Let's say you want to get more in depth on the due diligence side, which you're going to want to, right? You're going to want to pass this to your compliance team and then look it over. All that information can be found right here in Eaglebrook IQ. And then crypto training for advisors. Our crypto training for advisors, similar to if you took a CFP, a SEMA, a CFA, there's modules. You have 6 modules. Every module has a quiz. Once you pass that quiz, you move on to the next. At the very end, you have a digital exam, 70% are passes. You know, this isn't here to stump you. This is not a 40% pass rate. The goal is when you finish all 6 and then you take the exam, they're going to be pretty dangerous than they are to digital assets. And any question your clients come to you about the digital asset space, you're going to have an answer for, and a very educated answer. All this found right here at Eaglebrook IQ. I say we just jump into showing you what a client account looks like. So let's say you pull up a client account. You onboarded Alexander Jackson some time ago. So this is your client. Keep in mind, all this information you're going to see right here is all being fed back to Bridge. But you're going to see recent transactions, trading summary, realized tax year 2021, open positions. Well, let's say you want to allocate or add more funds to Alexander Jackson's portfolio. They only have 4,000, but now they're pretty comfortable. We want to transfer in more funds. You could send wires, ACH. You can actually send Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you have a client that has digital assets at Coinbase or even Gemini and that hot wallet, which we want to get that off of and get it into cold storage, you could easily just send them transfer in kind. But in this case, we want to wire. Well, let's just wire in $10,000 for this client. Keep in mind, no minimums, daily liquidity. So you just pull it up, you wire $10,000, or you want to wire in $10,000. All right, so there's a Bitcoin is what you're already allocated to, which is going to be prompted right away. But you want to start looking at other options. Well, you can easily open up the strategy menu and start looking at other options for you to allocate towards. In this case, we just want to continue to allocate to Bitcoin. Whatever you're doing from a market entry strategy on the traditional side, you can easily mimic right here in the digital assets. You could do market orders. You could do limit orders. Let's say you want to do cascading limit orders. All that very easily done right here on our platform. You can get rid of these if you just decide to change your mind. Maybe you just want a dollar cost average, just $10,000 in on a monthly basis at 20%. Done. Very easy. Confirm the instructions. Yep, we're going to wire in. Yep, 100%, 10,000, 20%, 5 months. Confirm it. Go to wires. Here's your wire instructions that you've probably done 100 times to wire in those assets. Same thing on the other end. Let's say you want to withdraw. Client wants to take $500 off the table. You go to withdraw, 500 bucks, continue. Yep, I want to confirm this withdrawal. I'm going to withdraw it. We're going to execute this trade, and then we're going to send it back right to where your bank account, see this little portion right here? This client, in this case in the demo, they funded it with a bank account. That's exactly where it's going back to. And it's just as easy as that. Very intuitive, very basic. Everything that you see right here, you've done before. We are here to mimic and make sure the onboarding process is extremely seamless now that you're allocating to digital assets. Shannon, I'm going to stop there and see if we want to take some calls. I'm looking down now and I realize we got 5 minutes, but I'm here for as long as you guys want. If you want to ask 100 questions, I got the time.
Yeah, I don't have anything coming up on the chat, so we might have something at the end here coming up and done. But so far, this is actually really impressive, and the easy use, I think, for me and others, it really is very shows it's a pretty solid in terms of how to manage and navigate this platform.
Yeah, extremely intuitive, and that's the reason that we created it the way that we created it. It's supposed to be seamless, and most importantly, it's going to be compliant. We coded in all the compliance. As you onboard clients, there's going to be suitability questionnaires. There's going to be processes in place where you're checking the box, making sure that everybody's aware. Your client's going to have a signature portion. They're checking the box as they read, client agreements, ADVs. All that information is going to be done for you right on our platform. And it's extremely intuitive, which I keep repeating myself. But that's how we're winning deals, because it's seamless, a part of your workflow.
So we do have a question that came up. I don't know if you wanted to grab this now or respond to the person later, but it was asked about that there's no minimums. But what are the fees for the SMA portfolios that you have on behalf of investment strategy?
Yeah, great question. So if you're looking at this and you see Bitcoin and Ethereum or a customized option of Bitcoin and Ethereum, our fee structure is 1% management fee, 10 basis points to our as a custody fee. So you're 1-1 with our side, and then we are sending that back to your reporting system. So whatever you want to fee on top of your digital asset allocation from our 1-1. What do you think, Dean? You like that, or you have more questions on it? And then on the other side, if you want to look at our active, our DeFi opportunities is going to be a 2% management fee with a 10 basis points custody fee. So it's 2-1 all in. And then of course, as we keep saying, going back to your reporting system where you'll be able to fee on top of that. And that has a $50,000 minimum. Doesn't need to be a accredited investor. It just needs to be an investor that understands digital assets and what they're investing is, which is why we up that minimum a little bit. And then our risk management strategy, that's 1.5. And it's a $10,000 minimum for risk managed strategy. So I kind of like a little all over the place, but more importantly, to understand Bitcoin and Ethereum, the blue chips, where we're really, most individuals are going to start off on their allocation. That right there, no minimums, daily liquidity, no transaction fees, 1-1, and then your fee.
So we did have a question coming up about the accredited investor, and does the investor need to be accredited for the single or the customized SMAs?
Nope, nobody needs to be an accredited investor on our platform. Digital assets should be provided for everybody, Bitcoin and Ethereum most importantly. And then once you get into DeFi, once again, it's just the upping the minimum is to make sure that that investor truly understands what they're getting themselves into. And when it comes to a partnership with Eaglebrook, we're going to handle the account opening procedure, the secure movement of funds, the trade execution, the investment management side, the performance reporting, the tax reporting. So let's go back to the investment management side. When we create a relationship or partnership with an RIA, we sit down with them and their operations team and walk through every single select an account where we're going to go through the onboarding process so that they understand how the piping works, how the workflow follows into what they're doing. And then the follow-up of that would be a Crypto 101 or an investing in Crypto 101. We'll bring our portfolio manager on the board. We'll bring our director of research or our director of education, and then we'll create a hard rollout date. So as we're going through this process of a rollout, then the pent-up demand is there. And then once they understand the digital asset from an investment standpoint, then they're off and running. And that's how we've been very successful at raising assets with financial advisors.
Derek, I do see there was just another question that came in just around the general cost to use and access the platform.
Yes, so this is not a SaaS. This is not a subscription fee. All of our fees is on assets under management or our management fee. So we can open an account with you anytime and you can have full access to our Eaglebrook IQ. We have plenty of advisors that are utilizing Eaglebrook IQ for months without actually onboarding one specific client. Keep in mind, we're education first. We want to make sure everybody's educated, even if they want to have a partnership with us or not. And since we're coming up on time and, I'll let the continued questions come through. As far as like what's needed, when it comes to wanting access to our platform, send me an email. You can see my email address right here. You can go to our website of eaglebrookadvisors.com. You can also access it that way, but send me an email. All I need is your first name, last name, email address, and a link to your company website. And then I will be able to send you an account. And then you will be able to hop on my calendar if you want to go through an in-depth analysis and thorough analysis of our entire platform. Maybe you want to bring your compliance team on board. We've worked with 46 different firms, some of the biggest firms out there. Every question from a compliance side you're going to ask, we've been asked, we have that on paper, and that goes back to looking at our Eaglebrook IQ, where our compliance documents are. You can look through all that information and we can help you get this process started and utilize us as a resource as much as possible.
Hey, Derek, that's actually interesting. One of the Q&As came up and it was asking about the disclosures that are needed on an ADV. So it sounds like you've already you've been through it before. You can provide the context to update an ADV around this.
Yes. So our compliance team and our legal team really kind of asked us to kind of push back from what needs to be changed, but we will walk them through what might need to be changed on the ADV. It's really just stating that Gemini is going to be now one of your custodians, and you're allowing digital assets as part of your allocation. But other than that, we will work with your compliance team and our compliance team. As mentioned, they prefer me not discussing that and letting them handle all that operational procedure on the ADV side. And I didn't mean to push off from that question. It's just they prefer it.
I'm not a lawyer either.
Yeah, so it does seem like we've answered everything that's come through. Obviously, one important thing to note is, as Derek mentioned, I'm going to be sending out that follow-up email with some really nice assets for you guys to review, some more information about Eaglebrook, as well as that complimentary resource from them. Derek's contact information will be in that email, so definitely keep an eye out for that. If you have other questions that pop up after this call, you can definitely get in touch with him, and he's able to answer those. So I think that's probably the best route to go.
Absolutely. Like I said, please utilize us as a resource. If you just want the education material, we can send you an account. There's nothing that compliance needs to have about you having an education resources at your fingertips. And then we can start working on what that rollout strategy would look like from a partnership. But we're very excited about our partnership here with Bridge. We love the fact that what we're going to be able to do and some of the versions that we're going to come out with to make this a lot easier of a process. But at this time, this data is being fed back. You're going to be able to see it through Bridge. You're going to be able to fee on it through Bridge. And we really appreciate the partnership. So thank you both.
Yeah, Derek, we appreciate the time and the insight here, and really look forward to the changing market space and how you guys will be able to provide custody and services in this new realm of digital assets.
Great.
I just want to say thank you so much to all the Bridge clients that joined us today. It was really a pleasure to host everyone, and just keep an eye out for that follow-up email. Thank you, Derek and Shannon, so much for presenting today. Thank you, guys.